Alright, so in this video I'm going to be going over my technical analysis for PEPE. I usually am not a fan of these meme tokens, these tokens that kind of take the term poo coin to the next level, right? This isn't a poo coin, this is like a fart coin. It's basically vapor, shout out to Gainsey. But I typically am not a fan of these meme tokens because there's a million of them, and everyone on Twitter thinks that their fart is the one that everyone's going to want to smell next. But if I can come up with a trade idea that I think has a high probability of playing out, then, I will consider trading the PEP token. And, considering it has, number one, kind of gotten that notoriety that the successful meme coins, if you want to call them that, have gotten. It is also on some exchanges, so I don't have to use a DEX. I don't have to use the Ethereum blockchain, which is absolute garbage. And all things considered, if I get a good trade setup here, I may consider trading it. So I will be going through what I'm seeing in terms of market structure, what I am looking at in terms of levels and potential trade ideas. I'll be looking over market Cipher, seeing how that's looking, and basically doing analysis on this PEP token like I would do any other token. So let's get right into it. So first off, I have this line up here. It is marked out primary market structure, and that's actually a lie. This isn't primary market structure. The actual primary market structure is something like this. I don't know where the low is, so we're just going to grab it from anywhere down there. Go to the high, higher low, and higher high. That is all the market structure that we have gotten so far. This has the potential to be a higher low. If price comes back up to put in a new higher high afterwards, then we still could be continuing this uptrend. Or if price comes down to break this last low, then we will be breaking the uptrend, breaking the primary market structure. So technically I should have this low marked out as primary market structure and this high up here like semi-primary market structure, I guess. But this is the market structure that I care about right now, because since the high was put in, the market structure has looked like this. And this high right here was the last lower high in the uptrend. And so far, price has just been trading in between this last high and this last low. So right now, this is the high that I care about most, because if we break that with a close, if we close above that level, then we could be reversing this local downtrend that we are in. And, that may be a sign that a new uptrend will begin. And may also be a sign that the larger uptrend may continue, that we may eventually make our way back up to the highs, so we can continue this market structure here. So what can we do with this information? Well, first off, if we get a break of market structure here, then there's a high likelihood that if we get a retracement, that it will end up being a higher low, because, we have broken the downtrend. We wouldn't expect this low to be taken out. We wouldn't expect a downtrend to continue after breaking the last lower high with a close. So that is one way of looking at this market structure, is if we get a break here and if we get a retest, it could potentially be a higher low. But if price comes up to take out these highs, but then quickly falls back down below them, grabbing the liquidity from this high and from this high, that could potentially be bearish. That may be a sign that the attempt at an uptrend was a failure and that a downtrend may continue. And right now, the setup that I am most interested in is right here. I have it highlighted. I am looking at this 30-minute order block that we have outside of this local range. So if we go to the 30-minute time frame, and it isn't exactly an order block, but it kind of is at the same time. So it is not one purple candle in between two blues, but it is two purple candles in between two blues. And the blue candle to the right did come up to break structure. We had some trading in the opposite direction of the trend inside of this box. We had some sell orders here. And so that is why I am calling this a 30-minute order block. It's not the cleanest, but it is still something. And I do really like the positioning of that area. It is in between the golden pocket and 786 of this fib pull from the low to this high, and it is also right below this wick. So potentially we could look at an SFP into this area, look for a price to dip down, come back up, reclaim this low without closing candles down here, or at least high time frame candles. I would probably look for, I mean, if we start closing like 2 hour candles down below this low, I would probably start to get a lot less interested in it. If we start closing, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour candles below this low, then I would be less interested in this idea. If we start closing, 1, 2, 4 hour candles above that low after dipping into this area, then I may start to consider this as an SFP. And yeah, basically, the main trade setup I'm looking for, the only one I'm super interested in right now, would be an SFP of that low into this area. And I would be targeting, well, first off, a break of this market structure. I would first want to see price come up to, break this downtrend. And then I have a pretty key area of resistance that I'm looking at. And that would be this 18-hour order block, which is also, this kind of mini range that we formed as we started this downtrend. There's also some confluence with fib levels. So let's go to the 18-hour. So this OB is looking cleaner than the 30-minute one. We got purple, blue, purple candle to the right, broke structure. So this is looking like a good order block. I'm liking the positioning of it being right around that mini range that we formed. And we have the 0.5 fib of this fib pull from the high to the low, lining up pretty perfectly with the point of control of this mini range, and I guess not on the 18-hour. Let's go to a different time frame. And on the 1 hour, you can see that the point of control is lining up right with that 0.5 fib. So I have like a specific level I'm looking at inside this order block, which is coming in right around a bunch of zeros, 28,379. And if things go perfectly, if this trade setup gets hit, then from my trade setup to that level is about a 91% move. And that would be fantastic for a spot play like this. I could take out half of my trade up here, basically take out my original investment, and then still have half of my bag left over. That would be ideal scenario, I think, for me, would be this trade setup playing out and then being able to TP up at this key level up here. Maybe I'll consider taking profits a little bit earlier. I mean, at a 70% move as opposed to a 90% move, I might start taking out profits depending on how things are looking. Now, if this doesn't happen, then there are a few more ideas that I would consider. Number one would be a retest after breaking structure. So I'd probably look for like a golden pocket retrace after we break structure, and try and find some reason to want to enter on that. You could also look for an SFP of this low. If we do not get a reaction from that level, we could grab liquidity from this low, basically make an attempt at continuing the downtrend. But if it's an SFP, if we just wick down below it, quickly come back up, that is not a break of structure. That is a swing failure pattern. Price fails to make a new swing low, and that I think would be pretty bullish. That would give us a reason to come up for these highs and try and break the downtrend. So other than this idea, those are pretty much the two other ideas I would consider. And if none of them play out, then whatever. I'm not super concerned with missing out on PEPE, even if it goes up 1,000,000%. If there isn't a good reason for me to enter, if I don't see a good trade setup, then I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to just buy PEPE right here because it looks like we're kind of, getting a little curvature, a little consolidation here, kind of looking a little bullish. Because what happens if we do this? Then, I'm down 70% on my money. So if I'm going to be, risking anything on this, I want to have a clear trade setup. I want to have a clear invalidation, which, will have to be determined whenever I enter it. If, for example, I take this trade setup, I would probably cover this order block. I'd probably cover the 786. But if it is an SFP, like if we do this, then you could also technically cover the wick because you're not expecting this wick to be taken out. If we start to get those higher time frame candle closes back above the low, that is. So yeah, basically, if I'm going to be doing anything with this PEPE token, I'm going to have a clear trade setup in mind with a clear target and clear invalidation. So now let's quickly run through market Cipher. Not not much going on the daily here. We do have a daily red dot. That's pretty bearish, right? We got a daily red dot here. Yeah, kind of joking there because who knows what that means, but 18-hour, momentum, since momentum started here, it came down a lot. We've been in the red. We've been below the zero line, that is. Still no money flow forming on this 18-hour, though, so I'm not going to look at that time frame. I guess I'm not looking at the 12-hour either. Yeah, I guess I'm not looking at the 12-hour. But, okay, here on the 8-hour, we have some money flow forming, so that's something to look at. And I gotta say, not getting too much from this 8-hour. I mean, if I had to say anything, I'd say, okay, locally we're looking a little bearish. Money flow continuing to put in lower lows in the red. Momentum just getting a turn to the downside. But overall, not getting much from that. So let's go to the 4-hour. And this 4-hour is actually starting to look decent. You can see good direction with the momentum. Momentum getting a turn to the upside. Looks like we may want to print another trigger wave here soon. Money flow overall has been increasing, and you kind of see what you could call parabolic curvature because it starts off slower and it begins increasing more aggressively. That could change though. Money flow could kind of do something like this, so I wouldn't rely on that too much. But overall, money flow being deep in the red for the first time, at least on MEXC. We have clearly gotten a retracement and are consolidating right now, and you can see the momentum and now more locally the money flow starting to turn to the upside. And we did not get any divergences on this low, which is not ideal. It would have been better if we saw divergences at this low. Would have made me a little bit more confident in it, and maybe that means that at some point we may want to put in another low and form divergences on those lows with momentum and money flow for a more confident bottom signal. But I would say overall, since we put in these lows, momentum has come up quite a bit, and now the money flow is starting to look much better. So looking at the 2-hour, pretty much same thing. Momentum has begun to curve to the upside. Money flow has begun to curve to the upside. And on the 2-hour, the low for the money flow actually came in at the lows. So from the lows, the money flow has been increasing. So, looking decent on the 2-hour. Locally, the VWAP is curving back to the downside. Looks like we might want to print a red dot here. And the money flow did just peak into the green, but if this VWAP continues to turn to the downside, it might just kind of come back down. And if that's the case, if the money flow kind of comes back down, I would really hope that that is the point where we kind of dip into this area. And if we kind of see that money flow divergence, if we see that momentum divergence, right, as price is putting in a lower low compared to this low, if the money flow is increasing and momentum is increasing, that would give me a lot more confidence in that trade setup there. And the 1-hour, pretty much same as the 2-hour. From the lows, money flow has come up. We've had a lot of these really deep momentum waves on the 1-hour, and we did just get that red dot. The VWAP has crossed over, and locally we even have a little downtrend in money flow here. So yeah, I mean, I think ideally we get that move down into this area soon because that could give us some juicy divergences here locally with momentum and overall with money flow. If the money flow just kind of dips into the red for a little bit, I think if we do start to get that move to the downside soon, it could set us up for some juicy divergences at those lows. All right, well, I think that is pretty much it for the PEPE analysis. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm looking at. I got some other order blocks marked out below this area, but being that they are outside of the Golden Pocket 786 area, I think I would be less interested in those. If we're going to lose this order block and we're going to lose this 786, then I'd probably next be interested in these lows. All right, that's about it for this one. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate the support. And I will see you all in the next video.